Mr. President, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. A gentleman by the name of Søren Kierkegaard, a Scandinavian philosopher, which, by the way, is not necessarily an oxymoron. A great Scandinavian scholar once said, "People understand me so poorly that they don't even understand my complaint about them not understanding me." Have you ever felt like you're being misunderstood? Have you felt, oh God, what's wrong with me, is usually the response. But I'm wondering if there isn't really, is it a misunderstanding on the part of other people, or is it our not understanding ourselves and what we're all about? And that's why I like to talk about majority of people seem to want to find the promise of power in their lives, when actually what we need to be looking at is the power of promise in our lives. Let me illustrate by giving you a rather lengthy, but not too long, story about my particular life experience. My high school guidance counselor called me into her office, and she had a letter that I had sent to the U.S. Naval Academy, where I had written and asked for information about how to get in and this kind of stuff. Somehow or another, when they opened the letter, they had ripped my name apart, and me, I had long-handed everything, and the only readable part that was there was my high school name and the city. And so they sent the letter saying, "Who is this?" so we can give him the information, or this person the information they need. And she said, "So you're interested in going to college?" Not the Naval Academy, college. She says, "Herbert, you know you don't have what it takes to go to college. It's silly of you to even consider it. What you need to do is to join the Navy," which I grew up in a Navy town. She said, "You need to join the Navy, learn a good skill, a trade, so that you'll be able to support yourself when you finish your time in the service." Needless to say, my mother had a few words with that lady when I told her what happened. And this guy with an average IQ, and that is true, I had a very average IQ, decided I wanted to go to college, and my mother said, "You go to college if you want to." So I went to college. Would you believe I crammed a 4-year education into 5? Some of y'all, your laughter is too telling. And I graduated, not just graduated with a bachelor's degree, I actually graduated with a commission in the Army. Whoa, this is kind of different for a guy with just an average IQ. But I kept thinking, I can do more. Well, the Army thought I could do more too and sent me to Vietnam with a rifle in my hand. The one thing I did learn very carefully was how to stay alive. And the first thing is, if you're a lieutenant, make sure all of your guys are in front of you. Anyway, some of y'all understand that, but it's okay. Would you believe that over the course of 30 years, I actually stayed in the Army Reserves and retired as a lieutenant colonel? When I came back from Vietnam, before I went to Vietnam, I thought I was going to be a disc jockey. I was going to be famous and everything, but my mother said, "Okay, but that's fine, but get a education degree anyway. You can do anything you want to, but have the education." When I came back, I realized why I had that education degree. It was so simple. I found my love in the classroom. teaching other young men and women about how to face life. Well, 45 years later, I retired as a teacher in May. So this average IQ person went on and got 3 master's degrees and 2 doctorates to strengthen my credentials as a teacher, to be what I wanted my students to do. Don't let somebody tell you you can't do something when you know inside you can accomplish whatever you dream of accomplishing. So what did I learn? I learned that I should never let other people limit my thinking. Okay. And number 2, I set my own goals for me, and I can accomplish those goals. So to kind of wrap this up in a nice little package, so to speak, let me remind you of the words of a little song that was written several years ago, actually about almost 30. It's a song that says, I am a promise, I am a possibility, I'm a great big bundle of potentiality. And I think the crux of this whole thing is we need to constantly be looking, not just outward, what's going on, and responding, but also to look inside and recognize I have promised myself my dreams. So therein, I think, lies the true power